This story begins in a small village in Europe. In that village lived Lena and her little brother John. But one day their mother died due to an illness. To take care of the children, their father, Christoph, decided to remarry so that the children could once again have a mother's presence over their heads. After some time, Christoph met a sorceress named Andrea, who already had a daughter named Amelia. Soon Christoph and Andrea got married, and now Lena, John, and Amelia became step-siblings. In the beginning, Andrea took very good care of all three children. One day, Christoph prepared to go on a long journey. He called Andrea close and took out a small chest filled with gold and silver. He placed a ring on his wife's finger and also gave her a locket. He handed over the key of the chest to Andrea as well. Meanwhile, Amelia had always hated Lena and John. Andrea made Lena wear the very locket that Christoph had given her. Christoph gave his son John a watch, and to his third daughter Amicia, he gave a bracelet to wear. After that, they all sat together to eat. As soon as Christoph drank from his cup, he died instantly, because Andrea had already mixed poison into the drink. After Christoph's death, Andrea and her daughter Amelia became the owners of all the wealth. Now Lena and John's lives completely changed. Andrea began treating them like servants and made them do every little chore in the house. On the other hand, Amelia's life became more luxurious than ever. One day, in anger over something, Andrea locked Lena and John inside the stable. She also snatched away the locket and the watch that Christoph had given them. After locking them inside the stable, Andrea stopped giving them food as well. Broken by hunger and exhaustion, John told Lena that this house was no longer livable for them. If they stayed there, they would die. Saying this, John forcefully broke down the wooden stable door. Before leaving, he stole back the locket and the watch. After that, the brother and sister quietly ran away from there. Running and running, they entered deep into the forest. The road was long, and slowly the night passed away. Meanwhile, when Amelia went to the stable to check on Lena and John, they were both gone. Seeing this, she was stunned, and she ran to tell everything to her mother. She also told her that Lena and John had stolen the locket and the watch and run away. Hearing this, Andrea's face turned red with anger. She used her dark magic and summoned a magical glass orb. Through this orb, one could see any person from anywhere. Andrea peered into the orb and saw that Lena and John were wandering aimlessly in the forest. John began to suffer from hunger and thirst. He ran toward an apple tree, but the tree was dry. Taking advantage of this moment, Andrea cast a spell to trap them and created a magical stream of water in their path. As soon as John reached the water, hope returned to his eyes. But as soon as he bent down to drink, the shadow of a tiger appeared in the water. The shadow warned him that if he drank this water, he would turn into a tiger. Lena grabbed his hand and pulled him away. She told him that if he became a tiger after drinking, he would end up killing her. Seeing her trick fail, Andrea grew even angrier. She cast another spell, and this time created a waterfall in their path. Inside the waterfall, they saw a bear, who warned that if they drank the water, they would turn into bears. Once again, Lena stopped John and pulled him away. But overwhelmed by hunger and thirst, Lena soon collapsed to the ground unconscious. John, worried, looked around and saw a small river flowing nearby, which was in fact created by Andrea's dark magic. Tormented by thirst, John drank the water without thinking and instantly turned into a black stag. Andrea and Amelia were overjoyed to see this, but suddenly the magical glass orb slipped from Amelia's hands and rolled into the stream. When Lena regained consciousness, she saw that her brother John had now turned into a deer. She was heartbroken to see this, and in despair, drank the river water herself. But Andrea's dark magic had no effect on her, and Lena did not transform into a deer. Now with her brother John, who had become a beautiful stag, she went to an old hut in the forest and decided to live there. To mark John's identity, she tied a golden cloth around his neck so that he could be distinguished from other animals. Meanwhile, Andrea ordered her daughter Amelia to go down into the stream and retrieve the magical orb. But as soon as Amelia picked it up, she found that the orb had shattered. Andrea no longer had the power to perform her dark magic. On the other side, Lena began taking great care of her brother, who had turned into a stag. She cleaned the hut and turned it into a beautiful place to live. And thus, living in the forest, 5 years passed. After this, the story takes us to the palace, where Prince Martin, along with a large troop of soldiers and horses, set out into the forest for a hunt. He had precious weapons, shining garments, and tall horses. As soon as his troop entered the forest, Lena heard the sound of horses' hooves from a distance. Even then, she allowed her brother, who had turned into a stag, to go outside, but instructed him that when he returned, he should stand at the door of the hut and say, "I am your little brother, and I want to come home." Meanwhile, the prince had entered the forest for his hunt and was killing animals one after another. Suddenly, his eyes fell upon a beautiful stag in the distance, with a golden cloth tied around its neck. In truth, it was John. The prince was astonished by its beauty and swift movements and began chasing it to catch it. But the stag was very agile and quickly disappeared from the prince's sight. It went straight to its hut and, standing at the door, spoke the very words Lena had taught. "I am your little brother. I want to come home." Lena immediately opened the door and let him in. John told her everything, that the prince had chased him. Meanwhile, the prince had already resolved that the next morning he would return to the forest and hunt down this black stag no matter what. So the next day, Prince Martin came again to hunt the same stag in the forest. Soon he saw it again, the one with the golden cloth tied around its neck. The prince aimed and fired. The bullet struck the stag directly, but despite being wounded, it ran swiftly and made its way back toward the hut. The prince followed closely and reached the hut. There he saw Lena inside, gently cleaning her brother's wounds with a cloth. Suddenly, Lena felt that someone was near the hut. As soon as she got up to look outside, the prince hid behind the bushes. From there, he silently observed everything. Now, seeing the prey he had wounded, the prince began to feel regret. At the same time, when he saw Lena, a strange feeling was born in his heart, as if he had fallen in love with her at first sight. Meanwhile, to protect John, Lena lightly tied him with a rope so that he would not run back into the forest and no one could hunt him again. But John was very clever. Slowly he gnawed through the rope and once again ran into the forest. The prince, hiding behind the bushes, saw all of this. When he saw that Lena was alone, he entered the hut. He told Lena that he was the prince of this kingdom, and from the first moment he had seen her, he had fallen in love with her. Without hesitation, he proposed marriage to Lena. At that very moment, John returned as well. Lena's stepmother, Andrea, had crafted a new magical orb. Andrea wanted her daughter Amelia to be married to the prince. Meanwhile, John repeatedly told his sister Lena that they should now go to the palace. There, not only would they be safe, but they would also get good food and respect. Influenced by John's words, Lena agreed to marry the prince. After this, the prince took Lena and John with him to the palace. There, with great celebration, the prince married Lena. But when Andrea saw in her magical orb that Lena had now become the prince's wife, her anger reached its peak. Emilia, seeing all this, began to cry, but Andrea consoled her and said that very soon she would play a new trick, and Emilia would become the queen in Lena's place. Time passed, and Lena was about to become the mother of the prince's child. To take care of her, the prince decided to appoint a nurse and a maid. Andrea overheard all this and decided that she herself would go to the palace disguised as the maid. Upon reaching the palace, Andrea and her daughter Emilia impressed the prince with their words, and both of them got the jobs. The very next day, Lena felt severe pain in her stomach and gave birth to a beautiful son. At that moment, Andrea and Emilia finalized their plan. With great cunning, they took Lena to the bathhouse, where they had already heated the water to an extreme level. There, because of the steam, it became difficult for Lena to breathe. Andrea cut off Lena's braid and locked her inside the bathhouse before returning upstairs, pretending as if nothing had happened. Lena prayed to God to save her, and at that very moment, she transformed into a dove and flew away. Meanwhile, Andrea laid Emilia in Lena's place. She covered her face with cloth and tied Lena's braid to Emilia's hair so that it would seem as though Lena herself was lying there. Now in the form of a dove, Lena could only see her children twice. After that, her death was certain. When the prince entered the room, Andrea told him that Lena had covered her face because her face had broken out in spots from a deer's disease. She incited the prince, saying that before this disease spread further, the stag should be killed. The prince, in anger, gave the order for the stag to be executed. Hearing this death sentence, John ran away to hide. But soon a soldier who used to look after him found him. The soldier's wife pleaded with him not to kill the stag and said that he should be hidden in a safe place. The soldier agreed with his wife and lied to the prince, saying that the stag had been killed. The prince went to visit his children, and there he found a feather of a dove. The next day, when the same soldier went to give John some water, John, using the help of the water, told the soldier the truth about his stepmother. Meanwhile, Andrea told the prince that his wife had died because of her illness. But at that very moment, the soldier brought John into the room and revealed the truth to the prince, that these two women were witches and had tried to kill Lena. He also revealed that the stag was actually Lena's little brother. As soon as the prince removed the cloth from Amelia's face, he realized the truth, that this was not Lena. As the truth came out, Andrea and Amelia tried to flee from the palace, but the soldier shot them and they died. With their death, all the dark magic was broken. Lena became human again, and John transformed back from a stag into a little boy. And thus, this beautiful story reached a happy ending. This film is called Little Brother and Little Sister, which was released in Europe in 2008. I'm just a hardworking creator, trying my best, pouring my heart and soul into every video. If you found even a little bit of value or joy in my work, please consider subscribing to my channel. That one small subscription means the world to me and gives me the strength to keep creating. I'd be so grateful. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.